at 6 a.m. and start your day with our balanced and sensational morning news. Our interesting afternoon news comes on at 12 p.m. with updated and fascinating news stories, while the 6 p.m. news rounds up all the happenings of the day to satisfy your curiosity. Join our versatile and incredible team to absolutely have on Kear Radio 95.9 FM. Today is Monday, March 3rd, 2025. This is the 6 p.m. edition of Kia Newsline. 45 minutes of the most recent news reporting about Liberia and the rest of our one world. I'm Lee Monju presenting. In the headlines, President Joseph Boakai mandated Justice Minister Oswald Tuwe to revisit the controversial $16 billion Liberian dollars case, says the move will ensure justice and public trust in government. Majority Bloc Speaker Richard Kuhn proposes 20 million in the upcoming national budget for the modernization of the GFK Medical Center. A group of motorcyclists under the banner Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia attribute growing police repression to growing wave of hardship in the country, demanding the immediate lifting of ban of police restriction on motorbikes. And away from Liberia, the Islamic police in the northern Nigeria state of Kano have arrested Muslims since eating and drinking publicly, as well as those selling food at the start of Ramadan when Muslims are supposed to fast for down until dusk. These plus our news bulletin, the voices of the newsmakers, details of this development, and much more are up ahead. But first, Princess Kamara and the news bulletin. Good evening, Princess.
Good evening, Lee. President Joseph Boakai has called on Justice Minister Oswald Twell to revisit the controversial 16 billion Liberian dollar case, demanding further investigation into the financial scandal that emerged during former President George Weah's administration. President Boakai made his call during his first cabinet meeting in 2025 at the Executive Mansion in Monrovia. The case dates back to the region of former President George Weah, where financial controversy unfolded involving the alleged mismanagement of 16 billion Liberian dollars related to the importation and handling of newly printed banknotes. The scandal led to widespread protests, with thousands of Liberians demanding accountability and transparency, something that severely damaged public trust in the government's financial mismanagement. Now, President Joseph Boakai has mandated Minister Tuet to revisit the case along with other matters currently pending before the Supreme Court in an effort to ensure justice and restore public confidence in the country's legal system. House of Representatives Majority Bloc Speaker Richard Cohn has proposed an allocating amount of 15 to 20 million in the upcoming national budget to modernize John F. Kennedy Medical Center, citing its deteriorating condition. His proposal follows revelations that the hospital's kitchen now relies on coupons due to broken equipment. During the March 3rd of JFK, Majority Bloc Speaker Cohn stressed the urgent need for healthcare investment to reduce overseas medical referrals. He assured JFK's leadership of the government's commitment to long-term healthcare improvements, emphasizing that transforming the facility into a state-of-the-art hospital is essential for national progress. For a part, JFK Chief Executive Officer Dr. Linda Birch highlighted challenges including inadequate staffing, medical supply shortages, and outdated infrastructure. The Supreme Court, thus Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia, SUMTUD, has called on the government of Liberia to uplift the ban placed on cyclists after violence that occurred February 19, 2025 by a few cyclists. Chokon Gray, president of Sumtu, claimed that the government has suggested cyclists into abject poverty and emphasized that motorbikes have been unlawfully impounded after obtaining license, insurance, and all necessary documents required by the government of Liberia. The president of the Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia emphasized that crimes are not transferable under the laws. As such, the unlawful act of few cyclists cannot hinder the movement of other motorcyclists. He at the same time urged the Liberian National Police to go after those who carry on the Violence Act rather than categorize all cyclists as violent people. Meanwhile, the Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of President Chokon Gray has announced that every Monday will be declared as a protest day in Monrovia as part of efforts to uplift ban placed on motorcyclists. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Transport says the protesting motorcyclists under the banner Supreme Motorcyclists Transport Union of Liberia are not recognized by law in the ministry's jurisdiction. According to a release issued in Monrovia on Monday, the Ministry of Transport clarified that the Supreme Court of Motorcyclists is not a registered union under the Ministry of Transport, adding that the group has no official status or authority to operate as union. In response to their actions, the ministry urged the self-proclaimed group and all other motorcyclists under the banner to refrain from impersonating to avoid future embarrassment. At the same time, the Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman has expressed gratitude to Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia for what he termed as respect for the rule of law, for formally writing to the Ministry of Justice before their Monday's protest. IG Coleman emphasized the importance of informing law enforcement officers before protests, noting that such action would enable the police to provide protection rather than infringing on citizens' rights. Speaking to journalists on Monday, the police IG showed the police commitment to guarding and protecting citizens in case of any violence during the protests, addressing concerns surrounding the plan that the ban placed on motorcyclists. The police IG clarified that the decision was not politically motivated, noting that thorough investigations and analysis were conducted, with findings indicating that most road accidents were caused by motorcyclists. He further stressed that the ban placed on motorcyclists were implemented strictly for safety reasons, emphasizing that a failure to have taken such action could lead to lawlessness across the country. The Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS) has concluded a one-day training session aimed at improving menstrual hygiene and reproductive health among female students in Bumi County. The training, which was held over the weekend in Bird, was organized under the theme Closing the Gap of Sexual Reproductive Health and Promoting Healthy Menstrual Hygiene Practices. More than 10 female students from four senior high schools participated in the initiative, which focused on teaching them how to make reused sanitary pads as a sustainable alternative to plastic bag pads. Speaking at the event, Madam Catherine Ta, head of the ECOWAS Reproductive Health Hygiene team, emphasized that the project is the first intervention from the West Africa Health Organization, a health-focused institute under ECOWAS. She explained that the initiative aims to reduce the use of plastic sanitary pads, which contribute to environmental pollution in local communities. She explained that the initiative aims to reduce the use of plastic sanitary pads, addressing the gathering ECOWAS Ambassador to Liberia, Madam Josephine Kuhlman, encouraged the participants to take the training seriously. She urged them to apply what they had learned and served as ambassadors of hygienic change in their communities. The beneficiaries representing Charles Henry D. Ward Central High School, Anderson Women United Methodist High School, St. Dominic Catholic High School, and United Pentecostal Mission High School expressed gratitude to ECOWAS for the training. They vowed to pass on their knowledge to their peers and promote better menstrual hygiene practices in their schools and community. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency LDEA Sano County Detachment has successfully executed a search and seize operation in Kakwipo, Dugbe River District, leading to the arrest of a suspect in possession of illegal substances during a search carried out by a team of LDEA officers led by General Commander, a 45-year-old Liberian national, was caught with 144 wraps of marijuana and 3 dispensary bags of kuch in the Eric Tia residence. Following a thorough investigation, suspect Eric Tia was formally charged with possession of illegal substances under Section 14.85 of the amended drug law of Liberia. Suspect Eric Attai has since been forwarded to court for persecution. The LDA maintained that it remains committed to combating drug related crimes and ensuring a safe Liberia. And the lawyer representing the disassociate members of the Methodist churches in Liberia, Councillor Emmanuel Tolman, has revealed that the action of members is based on the change in doctrine of the United Methodist Church. According to Councillor Tolman, the members who believed in the African tradition disagreed with the decision taken. He noted that the saga started at the 72nd Methodist Church back in October of 2024, with a decision that was triggered by the change in the Book of Discipline by authorities and redefining marriage and other ills contained in the Book of Discipline. Councillor Emmanuel Tolman claimed that Methodist bishop appointed pastors to all of the churches that had disassociated from the United Methodist Church, noting that a letter was sent in alignment with their response. He made these comments in an interview with reporters in Monrovia on Monday. Councillor Tolman furthered that the tension of the saga escalated at the 72nd Global Methodist Church by the unauthorization of Bishop Samuel Quarrel forcefully entering the church edifice and using tear gas on peaceful worshippers. He added that the action of the Liberia National Police is unethical and lacks moral grounds. At the same time, the legal practitioner has confirmed that the properties are solely for the local churches, challenging legal action against administration. That's the latest from the bulletin.
Princess Camara and a full bulletin of news from the news center. She returns with our foreign development. One of the big stories we are following, group of motorcyclists under the Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia attribute police repression to growing wave of hardship in the country, demand the immediate lifting of police no-go zone restriction. With that, we take our first development. President Joseph Boakai has called on Justice Minister Oswald Tuer to revisit the controversial 16 billion Liberian dollars case, demanding further investigation into a financial scandal that emerged during the former President George Weah's administration. President Boakai made the call during his first cabinet meeting in 2025 at the Executive Mansion in Monrovia Monday. He mandated Minister Tuer to revisit the case along with other matters currently pending before the Supreme Court in an effort to ensure justice and restore public confidence in the country's legal system.
People in this country have suffered for a long time. It's about time that we give them opportunity to take back some of the bias and some powers. once they have spent commitments, when these are issues that will have to deal with, we want people to come to this government in respect, never for blessings and institutional confidential.
Liberian President Jose Boakai. House of Representatives Majority Bloc Speaker Rachel Kuhn has proposed an allocation of 15 to 20 million in the upcoming national budget to modernize John F. Kennedy Medical Center, citing a deteriorating condition. Its proposal follows revelation that the hospital kitchen now relies on coal-pot due to broken equipment. During his Monday, March 3rd tour at the GFK, Majority Bloc Speaker Richard Kuhn stressed the need for healthcare investment to reduce overseas medical referrals. House of Representatives Majority Bloc Speaker Richard Kuhn. For part, GFK Chief Executive Officer Dr. Lena Batch highlighted challenges, including inadequate staffing, medical supply shortages, and updated infrastructure. John F. Kennedy Chief Executive Officer Dr. Lena Batch Eddie listened the House of Representatives Majority Bloc Speaker Richie Cohn. The Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia has called on government to uplift the ban placed on motorcyclists after a violence that occurred on February 19, 2025 by a few cyclists. The president of the group, Joe Congress, claimed that government have subjected cyclists into actual poverty and emphasized that motorbikes have been on, has been unlawfully impounded after obtaining lessons, insurance, and other necessary documents required by the government of Liberia. Meanwhile, Chokon Gray has announced that every Monday will be declared as a protest day in Monrovia as part of effort to uplift ban placed on motorcyclists. Chokon Gray is the president of Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia. Well, listeners, if you are just tuning, you are in tune to Kear Newsline. Today is Monday, March 3rd, 2025. I'm Lee Monju and the presentership. The story is top in the news tonight. President Joseph Boakai mandated Justice Minister Oswald Tuet to revisit the controversial 16 billion Liberian dollar case, says the move will ensure justice and public trust in government. Majority Bloc Speaker Richie Kuhn proposes 20 million in the upcoming national budget for the modernization of the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. Group of motorcyclists under the banner Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia attribute police repression to growing with of hardship in the country, demanding the immediate lifting of police no-go zone restriction. And away from Liberia, the Islamic police in the northern Nigeria state of Kano have arrested Muslims seen eating and drinking publicly, as well as those selling food at the start of Ramadan. We'll take another break to be back with sports and more development. Many thanks for joining us. Up next is Fatuma. Pardon me, up next is Fatumata Bari and Sports the Passion. Good evening, Fatumata.
Good evening, Lee. Good evening, Liberia. Senior national team standing coach Thomas Kojo has concluded his first training session with his local provisional squad on today. On first match, the Liberia Football Association revealed Coach Kojo's 36-man provisional squad ahead of the Liberia's World Cup qualifier matches against Tunisia and the Sao Tome and Principe on 19 and 24 March, respectively. Tasked with finding a winning squad, Coach Kojo called six goalkeepers, 10 defenders, 15 midfielders, and five forwards. The goalkeepers are Teddy Colley of Watanga, Abdullah Koulibaly of Global Pharma, James Debe of Heaven 11, Derek Julu of Invincible 11, Tommy Songo of Leska, and Junior Yinie of Wologisi SC. The defenders are Albert Swain of Heaven 11, Philip Tanu of Watanga, Brendan Deba of LPRC Oilers, Nelson Lamin of Watanga, Sebastian Tekla of Liska, Ja Yanfo of Blackman Warrior, Josephus Mator of FC Fasel, Alexander Curtis of Watanga, Eugene Swain of Pinze FC, and John Momo of Liska. The midfielders are Ama Vakana of B Mountain, Melvin Blapo of Global Pharma, Abu Kines Ko of Mighty Barrow, Daniel To of Liska, Nush Zon of Watanga, Daniel Yuma of Watanga, and Jonathan Freeman of Discovery Soccer Academy alongside Nicholas Andrew, who is the current highest goal scorer in the First Division League and plays for Heaven 11. The forwards are William Gibson of Heaven 11, Patrick Dwyer of Freeport FC, Emmanuel Flomo, current highest goal scorer for Liska, Mark Yala of FC Fasel, and Roland Kami, the boy that is changing the story for the old lady Mighty Barrow. In the Orange Cup, the Tommy Girls eliminated Shatter Angels via penalty shootout in the quarterfinals of the tournament. The defending champions lost 4-3 in the shootout as the full-time report was goalless. 2023-2024 runners-up War Girls secured a position to the last four. Also through a shootout, they won 4-2 against Stages Queens as the full-time ended goalless. It was Go Gallo for Ravia Angels and senior female professionals who secured the final two spots to the semis. Ravia won 5-0 against Earth Angels, while Senior Pro won 5-1 away to Vassal Girls. In the men's category, a shocking exit for Discovery Sports Academy, who lost 4-3 to Old Lady Invincible 11 in a penalty shootout after the full-time report was 1-all. Discoveries has been spectacular this season, unlike IE, who's currently rock bottom of the First Division League table. A struggling Liska managed to scale through to the next round with a lone goal from 16-year-old Maya Swan against Samira FC. Blackman Warrior massively defeated Jubilee FC 7-1 as Benjamin Sakor net a hat-trick plus one. Watanga secured the win against Ganaze FC also through a shootout that ended 4-3. Away from in the male category, Leska will take on Watanga in the semis, while Blackman Warrior will take on Invincible 11. In the women's category, Determined Girls will take on Senior Female Pro, while War Girls will face Ravia Angels. Away from Liberia, the Confederation of African Football has launched the CAF Broadcast Academy and the TV Directors Program in Johannesburg to uplift the quality of TV production and broadcast standard in African football. The CAF Broadcast Academy falls in line with the vision set by the CAF president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, of making African football globally competitive and amongst the best in the world. In 2024, the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations attracted over 1.4 billion television audience and 2.2 billion digital streams, making it one of the top four football events globally. In Europe, UEFA Top Leagues returns this week in its round of 16 stages across the Champions League, Europa League, and the Europa Conference League. Club Brugge will host Aston Villa. Real Madrid will host City rivals Atletico de Madrid. PSV Eindhoven will host Arsenal, while Borussia Dortmund will host Lusk Lille. Lee Monju, that's the news from this was desk.
Fatoumata Barry with her inaugural presentation on Kear Newsline. In more development, Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman has expressed gratitude to the Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia for what he termed as respect for the rule of law by formally writing the Ministry of Justice before their Monday's protest. Aji Coleman emphasized the importance of informing law enforcement officers before protests, noting that such action will enable the police to provide protection rather than infringing on citizens' rights. Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman. The Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS) has concluded a one-day training section aimed at improving menstrual hygiene and reproductive health among female students in Bome County. The training, which was held over 2 weeks in Toppenborough, was organized under the theme "Closing the Gap on Sexual Reproductive Health and Promoting Healthy Menstrual Hygiene Practices." Speaking at the event, Madam Catherine Ter, head of the ECOWAS Productive Health Hygiene team, emphasized that the project is the first intervention from the West Africa Youth Organization, a health-focused institution under ECOWAS. Also addressing the gathering, ECOWAS ambassador to Liberia, Madam Josephine Nkrumah, encouraged the participants to take the training seriously. She urged them to apply what they heard, learn, and serve as ambassador for hygiene change in their communities. Speaking earlier, the beneficiary expressed gratitude to ECOWAS for the training, emphasizing their readiness to serve as ambassador for the hygiene best practices. Students in Bombing County who recently benefited from a one-day section aimed at improving menstrual hygiene and reproductive health, they're speaking. And in foreign news, the Islamic police in the northern Nigeria state of Kano have arrested Muslims seen eating and drinking publicly, as well as those serving food at the start of Ramadan. Princess Kamara has more of that development.
The Islamic police in the northern Nigerian state of Kano have arrested Muslims seen eating and drinking publicly as well as those selling food at the start of Ramadan, when Muslims are supposed to fast from dawn until dusk. The deputy commander of the Hizban Mujahid Aminuddin told the BBC that 20 people have been arrested for not fasting and 5 for selling food, and that the operations would continue throughout the month, which began on Saturday. It's important to note that we don't concern ourselves with non Muslims, he says. Mr. Aminuddin says any disrespect for Ramadan will be out of control. It's heartbreaking that in such holy month meant for fasting, adult Muslims would be seen eating and drinking while fasting. That's the latest.
Well, listeners, on that foreign notice, I would like to draw down the curtains of today's Monday, March 3rd, 2025, 6 p.m. edition of Kear Newsline. This has been the joint effort of the News and Current Affairs Department here at Kear Communications Network. Many thanks to all of our reporters, contributors, editors who helped in making this edition of the program a success. Many thanks to Princess Kamaru brought for us a full bulletin of national and international news. Rufus Divango sat at control and handled the technical aspect. Fatoumata Barry passed by our studios with the latest in the world of sports. Many thanks to George Cizier who ensure our visibility goes beyond the studio. Before we take a leave, a relook of our headlines. President Joseph Boakai mandated Justice Minister Oswald Tuer to revisit the controversial $16 billion case, says the move will ensure justice and public trust in government. Majority Bloc Speaker Richie Kuhn proposes 20 million in the upcoming national budget for the modernization of the GFK Medical Center. As further heard in the news, a group of motorcyclists under the banner Supreme Motorcycle and Transport Union of Liberia attribute police restriction to growing wave of hardship in the country, demand the immediate lifting of police no-go zone restriction. And away from Liberia, the Islamic police in the northern Nigeria state of Kano have arrested Muslims seen eating and drinking publicly, as well as those selling food at the start of Ramadan. Thanks for listening. For more news, join the station at 6 a.m. tomorrow, at which time Kear Newsroom will return with more captivating stories. I'm Lee Monju. I presented. Good night.